Here we go. Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Level Die podcast. My name is Nick, and today we're talking about Shadow of Destiny, a game about a German man trying to solve his own murder by traveling through time. Today I have with me Madeline, an expert in the game. Say hello, Maddie.
What's up?
She has beaten the game, I think, more times than I can count on at least one hand. Maybe even on two. I don't know. How many times have you beaten it?
I've definitely at least played it at least 10 times.
Jesus.
I want to say.
Have you... Okay, so when I was playing through it this last time for the podcast, I wasn't going... I was going for a different ending than I got the first time. So I did look up the endings to sort of pick a different one. Did you ever get the EX mode ending?
I've gotten them once or twice, but they're kind of weird because you have to get all of the endings first before you get the EX endings.
Before you get EX mode. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And then I think there's two or four endings. There's 2 or 4 endings for EX mode.
Oh no. Oh, there's two for EX.
Yeah, there's two. Right.
There's 6 regular endings because technically
B1, B2,
is in 2 parts.
C, D, E, and F.
E. There's not an F.
I thought there was.
No, there's no F.
I'm gonna look this. All right. So, what is your favorite ending? Because I think that Oh wait, sorry. Actually, hold on. I want to do something at the beginning of this podcast. So the average listening time of this podcast is 11 minutes long. It's up 300% since my first episode. So I want to run through every single main detail of this game in under 11 minutes, so that people get the entire girth, the thickness, all 11 inches.
Do you want me to do just a fast?
No, hold on. So here we go. I have my talking points. Let me pull these up. Hold on.
Go.
So, what is this game about? Even though I kind of ran through it. Go. What's the game about?
Solving your own murder, figuring out how to bring yourself back to life. Basically, going back in time, figuring it out, going to point A to point B, finding things. Finding your killer.
Perfect.
That's it.
Now, basically. How long is the game?
You can beat it. You could beat it pretty quick. It's not that long. It's honestly not that long. It's like if you want to sit down and play it, you can beat it in one sitting. Very easily.
You've told me many times that you and a friend used to beat it in one sitting on a Sunday or whatever.
Oh yeah. Shout out to my best friend's sister, Taylor. Cool. Yeah. Seriously, we played it all the time.
The podcast, and I'll get another review.
Yeah. We played it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, 10 times. So give the game a review. Review the game. Give it a score. Give it a score out of 7. Let's do 7. Let's do a weird number. 7? Yeah, out of a weird number. Fuck,
weird.
10.
Okay.
10's overused. 5 is overused. Let's do 7.
Yes. All right. So I give it a 5.
I figured
maybe
you would.
A 6.
I figured you would give it a 5.
5 or a 6. Maybe a 5.5. Because
5.5. Okay.
5.5. The story is great. It has a lot. The story actually, to me, never ends because there's plot holes everywhere, but not like on purpose, not like as an accident.
But it's cyclical. No, the game is cyclical.
Oh yeah. So the endings are kind of like a portal into this whole parallel universe, or like a paradox situation where it's like, oh, the ending is like, we're bringing you back to the beginning.
Right.
So it kind of goes in full circle all the time. It's like a never-ending just circle of story, which is why I give it such high marks, because the replayability obviously is like super high. However, the game in itself, like the acting in it, if we're gonna get that far, the acting in it is totally cheeseball. 100% cheeseball.
Okay, well, we can talk about that a little bit later. I have that written down. I actually do want to talk that that with you.
Yeah. But as a game, as a game, as I sit down, if you want to play this game, I definitely would give it some high marks, because you can play it like a billion times and feel like you haven't seen everything in the game, again.
Oh yeah, I just saying before we started recording, I literally was part of an event that I didn't experience my first 2 times playing through because I just kind of stumbled upon it and then I went through it. And it's like you don't see all of those events your first playthrough because depending on what time you're in, blah blah blah. Okay, so would you recommend this game to other people?
Totally. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite games.
Really?
Yeah, like as far as because I have like 5 games that I play every single year. Yes. I will play every year,
I know
and it's on my list.
Kingdom Hearts is definitely up there.
Kingdom Hearts is there. Zelda's there.
Oh yeah.
Dark Cloud is there.
Oh yeah, Dark Cloud. Yeah, you're a big Dark Cloud player.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say in this first 11 minutes before we actually start this fucking podcast? Because this. Yeah. No,
I think we set it up, and I'm ready to.
You ready to knock them down?
Ready to ingest. Let's go.
All right. So you were saying that the voice acting in this game is pretty cheeseball, and I just want to say that this.
But in a good way.
No, I know.
Right. Great
right.
Way.
But it's good in it's good in the same way that Final Fantasy X is good because Final Fantasy X only came out 1 year before this game.
Yeah.
And that's huge because that's like early PS2.
Game. So, right, and it's a Japanese game, so it doesn't translate the same way that it should if it were in Japanese. So I'm sure if you played it in Japanese, it would be a lot better. You know,
right?
It would sound a lot better, but us Americans can't do anything right. So,
jeez, weeaboo, God, way to just hate on your own people. Goodness.
I know.
No, but like I was just thinking because I was looking it up because I was like, man, like when I was playing through it, I was really impressed that every single character you interact with has voice lines. There's only like there's no text. No, there is no text, and I thought that was really cool. And I look when you watch the credits.
Except for instructions.
When you watch the credits, there's only like 6 people that did all the voice lines in the entire game, which I think is hilarious. But every single character in the game is voiced, and there's not that many characters, obviously. Blah blah blah. But when you compare it, go.
When you are going back and forth in time, it's the same characters, just in a different time because it's all about ancestry bullshit.
Right.
So,
in this tiny German town.
Yep. Yeah. The other thing is that it's German. Everything is in German.
Everything is German.
You know.
Yeah. I was really, really impressed. I was impressed the first time I played it, but when I really was like looking for it and looking for things to think about, the fact that it has quality like Final Fantasy X, which took 10 games to get audio acting when Metal Gear had audio acting in the PS1 era, so Final Fantasy IX could have done it, but Final Fantasy X was the first game to have voice in the Final Fantasy series, and that's a huge series. I mean, that's like Final Fantasy took over the world.
That's a long game too. I mean, that's a hefty game to get voice acting for.
Yeah.
And this is a very small game.
It is, and you can definitely tell that this is like a AA or a B title. It's not AAA like fucking Final Fantasy X is. But I was really impressed with the fact that it had voice acting.
This is just a single idea indie.
It's basically indie. Honestly, it's basically an indie game.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, it's a good game.
So I want to talk about these events that. I want to talk about the event that I experienced. Just like, it was at the end of my playthrough, and it was like I was like, oh my god, like I didn't experience this. This is so crazy. It makes so much sense. So I really wanted to talk about it. So
do we want to say what the events leading up to this, or do we want to just go straight to like let's talk about the endings?
Well, no, this isn't an ending. This is a mini hidden event that you can. It's like a dialogue / cutscene thing that you can experience by going to the right location at the right time and having the right item Right. So I think it was chapter 7 or 8. I jumped to Snowy Day. Or I think it says Coldy Day.
That was one of the things that I wrote down.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's such an important chapter.
Well, yeah. So chapter 7, I think it was 7 or 8. It was Snowy Day, and I was just wandering around trying to, because I'm a person who likes to amass the energy units. Speaking of energy units, Let me write something down real quick. I'm someone who likes to amass the energy units so that I can run around without worry of having to go find one when I'm like rushing towards the end of the chapter because there is a time limit.
Yeah.
So I was just running around, just gathering fucking energy units for fun because I know where some of them are in Snowy Day, and I go to sort of like I would say northeast, south, like the southeast corner of the map. At was it the northwest corner of the? I don't fucking remember, but it was some sort of corner of the map, and I go up and it's the bar. It's the bar, and there's a dude tending bar, and he pours you a cup of coffee, and he's like, "Hey, have a cup of coffee on the house. It's cold out. Like this is how we get to know each other." And he was like, "Oh, cool," and he drinks it, and then he goes, "Okay, do you have money?" And he's like, "Wait, like, it wasn't on the house?" And he's like, "No." And then you give him an egg, and then like you give him the egg-shaped pocket watch. And like that leads into that dude collecting eggs, and he mentions it like a ton of times to you earlier in the game when you meet him.
To branch off of that, because I actually had a mark for that, which is kind of coincidental.
Fuck yeah.
So the kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to talk about. But yeah, the guy that collects the eggs is the bartender, and you can do a lot of things with the eggs. With that egg.
Can you
There's
really?
A lot of different things that you can do.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
So, you can even get the egg super early. So,
dude, okay.
For people who
speaking of super
game,
early, I'm talking about the frying pan with you.
Like, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Let's go. Let's talk about the frying pan right now.
So, for people who haven't played the game, you're supposed to one of the ways that you die. There's many chapters, and in each chapter you die a different way.
I think it's chapter 3, right?
Yeah, so chapter 3 you have to get, or 4, I think it's chapter 4 that you have to get a frying pan because you get stabbed.
No, so the way you die is you get stabbed in the back, and you have to find a way to stop yourself from getting stabbed in the back. You have to find an item in the world.
There's two things that you can either get. You can either get a frying pan or you can get a sign, which you got in this playthrough.
No, my first time playing it, you were like, "I've never gotten this. What the fuck? What the fuck?" And I was just like, "Dude, what?"
I never thought. I think Taylor got the sign once or something. I don't remember because I knew that you could do it, but I never knew how. So I just did what I knew. But to go back to the egg, just to
yes, please, because I need to know how to get this frying pan thing.
In chapter 2,
in
chapter 2, you die in a fire and you go to the bar and like the guy's like, "Oh, save my grandpa." You die in the fire.
Save my grandpa. Yeah.
Blah, blah. So the guy that collects eggs is the guy that's the quote unquote grandpa.
Right.
So anyway, if you go out after you've talked to the kid, which is Hugo.
Spoilers.
Sorry. After you've talked to the child, edit out that name.
Yes, the child.
You can go back. You go back to the square, which is where you saw that performer. Because in chapter 1,
the first.
In chapter 1, when you die by stabbing again, whatever, for the first time. But if you gather a crowd, there's a performer, and you won't die. The killer will get scared away.
Right.
So anyway, if you go back to the square, the performer is still there.
Really?
If you try to talk to him.
Oh, he goes, "Oh, I've seen this before," and he walks away.
Then no.
Yeah.
That is if you haven't. Hold on. Yes, you are correct, but that's if you haven't talked to the boy first. But if you talk to the boy first, way. If you talk to the boy first, it triggers the cutscene to go talk to the performer. But if you talk to him directly, it'll cause a parallel rift and you'll die because it's like talking to yourself.
It's you. Yeah, because you're the performer. From another time period.
So,
right.
You have to just watch him, and then he tosses the egg at you. In chapter 2, he tosses the egg at you.
Really?
Yep.
He just tosses it. Okay, then what do you do with the egg?
So you go in, you take care of the grandpa, you die, whatever. and then you figure out that whole chapter. You go through the motions of chapter 2, and then in chapter 3,
you just go and give him the egg, and then he just gives you the frying pan.
You can go to the bar and get the and then you can skip chapter 4.
God,
and there dude. You skip all of chapter 4,
dude,
which
okay,
if you haven't played the game, chapter 4 is like an hour-long chapter.
Dude, okay, but now speaking of chapter 4,
but you
dude,
missed,
that's a really good chapter.
It's a great chapter. It's a great chapter.
You see a lot of shit in chapter 4, and you can do a lot of shit. Like you meet Sibylla, you meet.
It explains a lot of the setup of the story, and it explains the setup of Snowy Day, which is the most important chapter of the game.
You change a lot of shit in Snowy Day. You do a lot of shit in Snowy Day. Yeah. But I just I was thinking about it because I always do the sign because I never knew how to get the frying. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the frying pan next time. But I was playing through chapter 4. Or I guess we're gonna agree that it's chapter 4 now.
It's either chapter 3 or chapter 4.
Let's just agree. What do you want to agree on? You want to agree that it's chapter 4? I think it's probably chapter 4.
I wrote down chapter 3, but I need to.
I swear to God, I think it's chapter 3 because it's stabbing in the in the town square. Then it's burning in the fire. Then it's stabbing in the back. Then chapter 4. I don't remember what chapter 4 is, but
I should have wrote this down.
Well, look while I talk. You can look on your phone while I talk. So
that's what I'm doing.
When I was playing through it just this last time, I was like, man, Maddie is missing out on some shit. Like chapter 4 is fucking great. I was running around. I was talking to Sibylla. I know you have. I know. But I'm just like, man, like this is like the best chapter. This is probably the best chapter in the game because you get an hour and a half. I think it's an hour and a half where you get to figure out how to stop you dying. So that is a lot of fucking time.
So it is chapter 3. It is chapter 3.
Boom.
And the reason I like to skip chapter 3 is because yes, I have played it so many times, but if you haven't played it, please play chapter 3. But
use the egg trick on the second playthrough.
I can't stand chapter 3 because it's on a time limit. It's on a very slim time limit, and you don't have, and you have to do so much. You have to do so much, and if you don't do it, then you have to start from the beginning. So like.
It's actually pretty self-explanatory in my opinion, though, because you drop right next to the fucking dude who runs the museum. You do like the 2 conversations, and then you take the picture, and then the dude moves, and you go grab the sign. But like the thing is you have to figure out where the fucking sign is and how the fucker, dude. So one of the things I went into the what is that called? Antique shop in the modern day world, in the day I exist. And there's a suit of armor. And I was like, I clicked X on it, and they're like, like it's a suit of armor. And I was like, dude, just let me fucking take it. Like I was like, is this a way to get it? And I tried so hard. I tried for like 10 minutes to try and get this suit of armor. Like just thinking, like, how do I get the suit of armor? Because that's like even better than the sign or the frying pan. It's literal fucking armor, dude.
Why can't you just wear that the entire game and that would solve all your problems?
Just done. Break into the antique shop, steal the armor, game over. You just get the fun. You just skip to chapter 8, like, except for maybe the car hitting you in like chapter 6 or something.
Whatever.
But but chapter 3 is fucking great. You run around, you meet Sibylla, you talk to people, you run around in the snow. And on that note, dude, the game is pretty good looking. Like the snow falls, like he walks a different way when he's walking through the snow. Like when it gets super snowy in like chapter 7, he's like trudging through the fucking snow. It's like fucking like knees all the way up to his fucking chest. Like there's a good ass amount of attention to detail in this game that like you wouldn't expect from such an early game in video game history.
To touch on details and the way it looks and everything, the music is actually really great in it. Honestly, the music and the ambiance.
I think it's pretty fucking repetitive. There's one song for each time, and it's just that's it.
And that's it. But it's very daunting.
Dude, it is fucking stressful as shit. It's super stressful. Like that's why it gets so annoying. Boo 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 boo. And you're just like walking around like, dude, how the fuck do I solve my murder? Boo 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 boo. And you're just like, oh fuck, then I'm gonna die, dude. And like I would always just like I would skip going to the fucking fortune teller and I would just wing it. I would just fucking wing it.
Oh, okay. Okay, talking about the fortune teller. Talk about the fortune teller. And the fortune teller is somebody that you talk to, for people who haven't played the game, again, is somebody that you talk to in each chapter. She tells you the fated hour, she lets you know when you're going to die, and that's it. And she gives you some advice.
And she wastes 3 minutes of your time. 3.
Yes. You don't have to talk to her.
No, you do not.
You don't have to talk to her. But if you talk to her in every chapter, you get, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's if you get chapter B1. I think that's what it is if you talk to her every chapter, you get B1. And that's always the one that I try to get, because B1 is always the... Okay. Hold on. So D is the one that I get all the time.
And that's where... Let's break it. Let's talk about the endings.
We'll talk about it. Okay. Let's do it.
Is D the one where you are the dad?
Yes. Well, to be more specific, it's the one where you find out that you're actually the dad.
Right.
And that you've been cursed with eternal youth.
And he transforms your face and erases your memory so that you are cursed.
So you don't remember.
You do not remember that you are actually like the dude that starts it all. That is the first ending that we got. That is, in my opinion, the best ending in the game.
The best one. The best one.
Because it literally hits on every point. But like also it's like, oh, so this is the entire reasoning for the whole game. It makes the most sense. And
then it creates a paradox, because it's like, maybe if you didn't actually do this in the future, it would have never happened in the past.
Right.
So if you would have never... Okay, so what happens is you burn the notes. You can either choose to burn the notes or not burn the notes. But to get this ending, you burn the notes.
You have to burn the notes.
You destroy the notes about creating... we didn't even talk about homunculus.
We have plenty of time. We're only 21 minutes in. We got an hour.
I know.
At least an hour.
I know, but now I'm like... This is what I was saying before
I got homunculus written down, baby. I got him written down.
Homunculus.
Or her. I don't know. It's a boy, though. I think.
There's a lot of whatever. I think it's a guy.
I think it's a guy, too. I think
anyway,
it's like Hugo, honestly. I feel like it's Hugo.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I feel like it's like some sort of alternate sort of... Because like he runs down. He's so interested in being down there. I feel like something happens and he turns into homunculus and like splits like the timeline. And then he becomes... homunculus, but I guess the homunculus is creating life from nothing, so it probably isn't Hugo.
So if
it was just a thought, it seems like he's a lot like
Hugo. You know what? Actually, I can touch on that. Because the name of the town translated from German is Life Tree. Yeah, it's called Life Tree or Tree of Life or something like that.
Did you do this research on your own, or is it in the game?
That's just some random
Did you translate it? Did you fucking translate it, you fucking nerd?
At some point I probably did, because I've played this game since I was 9. Like, get over it. So anyway,
hey, Eins Glücklich means tree of life. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Did you know that? I did. So anyway, in the extra endings, and the EX endings, in EX2, in EX2, it shows, you go into the town center or the town square, and it shows the tree with the homunculus stone in it.
What is the homunculus stone? The philosopher's stone?
That red stone. The philosopher's stone. Yeah. It shows it in it. This is after homunculus is... Okay, so to explain EX and EX2, in the EX1, going back to the endings, because we're talking about the endings now.
We're all a little all
in
over
EX1,
the place, yeah.
We're all over the place. Well, this game is all over the place, so I mean, it's really inevitable to go everywhere. So I apologize.
Did you ever kill yourself in the first chapter if you go back and talk to yourself in the cafe?
So you can talk to yourself in the cafe. Yeah, I definitely did that.
First thing I was like, hey, what happens? Game over? Like not like a death. It's a fucking game over.
Yeah, yeah. You died by paradox or whatever. But yeah. So in EX1, the elixir gets made.
Yes, it's the yes. I was looking at the endings, and that is
Oh, you
have
were?
to make
Okay.
because I was trying to get a different ending than my first one. So I was like, I'm gonna pick an ending, and then I was like, what are the EX endings? And then one of them is the elixir of life.
You gotta work for those, man.
Dude,
you
they're
gotta
hard.
work.
It takes some fucking work to get these endings.
Yeah. But yeah, the elixir's made. The mom gets saved because she has like cancer or something like that. I don't know. So
some old
basically
cancer.
Basically, Wagner, who's the scientist in the story,
or Wagner. It's Wagner.
It's Wagner
because it's German. They pronounce the W's as E's. It's Wagner.
The Americans say Wagner, so we can say both.
All right.
But
Wagner
Wagner finger. So he wants to create the elixir to save his wife.
Right.
In turn, instead of creating the elixir, he creates the Philosopher's Stone, which creates homunculus, which creates this whole diabolical plot.
Wait, does he create? He creates the Philosopher's Stone?
Okay, so going to ending D, which is the Eternal Youth one, which you've gotten, it discusses and it shows that Wagner creates a Philosopher's Stone, which creates homunculus, which further supports my theory before of like, if you didn't go back and give the notes or burn the notes or whatever, and you didn't give the information to Wagner to create this Philosopher's Stone, homunculus would have never been created.
And the timeline would have been normal.
Yep.
Interesting.
So,
that's why D is such a good ending. That was the ending you told us. We were playing right in front of you, and you were like, "You need to get this ending." We were like, "All right," and we did exactly what you said, and then we fucking got it. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, because you were like, you literally said, "This is the most well-rounded ending that explains the most, and it will give you. It's the most satisfying. It's the most satisfying ending." And I was like, "Okay."
It gives you an ending, and it gives you a purpose as to what this game is. And then it kind of pulls you into playing it again, because you're like, okay, we've created this paradox of future me coming back to tell old me how to make this Philosopher's Stone, which in turn curses me to eternal youth and damnation.
Basically.
And yeah. So it's a circle. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a circle. So you want to play again to see if
I love that they actually reward you for playing it multiple times. Like, it's not just like play it to get the different endings. Like, literally, if you get every different ending, you unlock a special mode. You unlock a special mode specifically for people who worked hard enough for it, which I think is great. It's not just like
which is so funny, because in the extra 2 endings, you die. You just cease to exist in both of the endings.
No fucking way. Really?
Yeah. Both endings, you just die. In most of the endings, actually, you die, except for maybe like 3, actually.
Most of them, you just go to the bar and drink at the end.
Yeah.
You hand over the shit, and you just go get drunk.
B1, B2, you get hammered, and then you die.
What do you mean you don't die? It just ends.
Oh, wait, no, you don't.
Jesus Christ. You just get drunk. You just relax.
I'm getting drunk right now, and I'm trying to read my stupid chicken strat.
I'm fucking hammered.
So we've touched on B1 and B2. Wait, no, we kind of haven't. We just said what happened. So B1, you get the Helena is her name of the fortune teller. Thank you, brain. The fortune teller, and you find out that the fortune teller is actually the mother that Wagner is trying to save.
No fucking way, because I did one of the bees, and all the bees.
Have you never gotten that ending?
All the bees are just you getting saved either way, and Hugo, and then you just go and you hand it in and you go drink. That's it. That must be ending A or C. That must be ending A or C.
One of the endings.
Yeah.
One of the endings. I'm pretty sure it's B1, because it was talking about Hugo, and I swear, Hugo's trying to find his mom and like save his mom, and he finds her, or like you tell her that like, you know, the fortune teller is his mom, and he's like, I don't believe you, and he like wanders in current day to the fortune teller's room, and she's like, Hugo, how could you do this? Like, I'm so disappointed in you. And then she kills him by collapsing the building on him, and then they are forever united.
B1. That's B1.
That's what I just said.
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
B1.
That's B1. Yeah, he gets crushed. I got ending B2. B2 this last time.
B2, Margaret goes back with Hugo. Marguerite goes back with Hugo,
yes.
and it's like, okay, like nothing ever happened.
Yes, and I'm gonna go drink myself away. That is the worst fucking ending, in my opinion.
So vanilla. It's so vanilla.
No, it's the worst ending because, dude, Marguerite belongs in modern day.
She belongs in the current. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Totally.
Brutal. Yeah. I hate that she ends up back there, especially because now I know it. And like, then Homunculus does this huge thing where he's like, "Oh, I switched the babies." As like a joke, just to like see what would happen.
Just to fuck with everybody. Yeah. So anyway, ending A, Homunculus dies because his body is fragile.
Nice.
He dies. He's out of existence. Hold on. A sip of my beer.
There you go.
He dies because of existence. Whatever. You get your happy ending. A is a very happy ending situation. You don't die. You just see. A is the one where you see the stone in the tree.
Okay.
That's the one. Marguerite goes back to living in the past. You don't have any recollection of her at all. You just think that, okay, now I'm alive. And you don't really dive deep into the story. It's just very flat.
Mm-hmm.
B1 is, if we're going in chronological order,
mm-hmm.
as to ABC.
Mm-hmm.
B1 is the first one where you're going. Yeah, alpha. Thank you. B1 is the first one where you're like, oh crap! Like, what? This has some deeper meaning to this. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
B2 is like, kind of like how A was, where you're just like, all right, we're just gonna go off to where we originally were.
Yeah, B2 is pretty lame.
Lives, whatever. C. Jesus. This one is interesting.
Okay. Let's break it down.
A dimensional paradox is created. So everybody basically, like, let me actually pull up the description of it because it's hard to describe.
All right, while you pull up the description.
Strange.
While you pull up the description, what was your favorite time period in the game?
I think Marguerite.
I did like Marguerite's time too, but I think
Sepia
Snowy Day was probably my favorite. Just because of how
Snowy Day.
Aesthetic. It's aesthetic as fuck, dude. It's just super aesthetic.
It's great. Because it's black and white. The whole thing's black and white.
And it's like, it snows.
So on each time period, to give some backlog information.
Sure, man. Just keep filling in.
That's great. Current day is colored.
Fully colored.
Marguerite's time period, which is in like the 1800s, it's sepia or sepia.
Sepia. Yeah, it's like orangish.
However you say that.
Orange, red, brown.
And then the 1900s. I think it's 1800s.
It's 100 years ago, so it's 1900s.
100 years ago, 1900s.
Yeah.
It's black and white. And then
what is 30 years ago?
30 years ago is like it's colored, but it's more. It takes place in nighttime, whereas the current day is daytime.
Interesting. You know what? Yeah. That is what happens, huh? Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so ending C.
Okay.
Ending C. Now I have it. So ending C is very weird.
I
have you now. Ending C is strange because it creates the paradox because Hugo travels back in time from current time, so he's old in his original time. Does that make sense? It's very strange.
No.
He's lived his entire life. He's old now because he's been searching for this person that he thinks killed his parents. That's his whole motive, is that, that's why he's trying to kill you. Oh, Hugo's the killer. Spoiler alert. Hugo's the killer.
For this fucking 20-year-old game. for this fucking
Woo!
like that's like I don't give a fuck about spoilers,
Oh,
dude. If the
it is
game's this
20 years
fucking
old.
old, and if you're listening to a podcast about it, guess what,
Wow.
dude? It's getting spoiled.
It's getting spoiled. So anyway, no, Hugo's lived his entire life, and now he returns back to the 1500s, where Wagner discovered homunculus and the stone and whatever.
Oh, so wait, he lives his whole life in the present day.
Basically, yeah. So he goes back in time.
Okay.
Because he's searching through time to find Ike.
Right, because he's following you. Because his digipad can only follow your digipad. Well, his machine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, old Hugo, like elderly Hugo,
right,
has a conversation with young Hugo and Ike. Ike is trying to tell him, like, stop what you're doing. You're creating just terrible things for yourself.
Dude, this sounds like a fucking trip-ass ending. How do you get this ending?
I have only gotten this ending once. So that's why I'm not super solid on this ending. So I need to look it up.
Wild. That sounds like a fucking wild ending.
It's crazy. So old Hugo hits young Hugo with his cane. Creates a time paradox. Literally creates a time paradox.
Okay,
they both cease to exist.
Holy shit.
In both dimensions.
Yeah.
And Margaret is dying because she doesn't exist anymore now. What? Because Hugo doesn't exist.
What?
And then Ike returns to his current day, lies down in the street, and is
looks up at the stars, right?
What just happens? And then he gets run over by a car.
Are you serious?
That's it. That's the whole ending.
Holy
That's it.
Shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck you. That sounds like a great ending, to be honest.
It's great. It's wonderful.
That's like the fucking joke ending. That's literally the worst ending in the game.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
Everyone dies ending. Jesus.
Everyone's dead. Ike dies. Margaret dies.
D is
Hugo
obviously
dies.
D is the best ending. And then what is E?
Great. E is E is the one where Dana actually comes back to the past.
No, she's always in the past.
No, I'm saying and stays there.
Well, she does stay. You mean she comes back to the future and stays there?
No, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Dana stays in the past.
Yes.
Marguerite comes to the future.
Yes.
And stays in the future. That's better.
Oh, that sounds like
Hugo
a really
apologizes. Whatever. Everything's fine. Everybody goes back to where they should be. And
kind of sounds like a deflated balloon, to be honest, if that's it.
A little bit. Yeah, everyone goes back the way it started. And then Dana's like, "Oh, wait. I'm thinking about a different ending. Hold on.
Jesus Christ. Wait. All right, here we go.
Let me read one second. I think that they actually go. I think that Margaret goes back to the past.
Marguerite goes back.
Hugo apologizes, then returns to the past with Marguerite, who had managed to warn Ike about Hugo's plans. Okay. All right. So that's better. That makes more sense to me.
See, I don't like the ending where Marguerite... Is there any ending where Marguerite comes to the future and they switch spots like they're supposed to? Any ending that passed A, B, and C, because A, B, and C, you say, you're my ancestor, and you choose an ending, like in Chapter 6.
Right.
So, what's the... is there an ending where Marguerite, you get to bang her? Is there any ending where you get to bang Marguerite because she's actually, not your daughter? So the fact that she was... So when Wyatt and I, you're this... just a guy that exists. It's not your husband or the father of your child. Because I'm trying to get views from people who like girls and they like them to be single.
Okay. Marguerite goes back in the first ending. Marguerite actually stays in the current time. In A.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the one where you discover that Marguerite is your ancestor. Or Dana is your ancestor. Let me correct.
Okay.
Dana is your ancestor. That's
Marguerite
A.
is a girl that works at a diner. So I think one of the cool things. Well, this is a little side note. When Wyatt and I were playing through it, I chose Marguerite as my waifu for the playthrough, and then I found out that
she's the hottest in the game.
She's good looking. She is in fact not your daughter, and it's totally appropriate for her to be your waifu. So, winner, winner, chicken dinner. But I love that you kind of slowly piece together the fact. Well, I mean, I guess you can just kind of pick an ending where it tells you, but like I never got that ending until just this last time, and you kind of like told me or whatever. But you kind of just notice signs. Like one of the things that Marguerite says is she's super interested in what your time is like. She really wants to know more and more about like where you came from. And like that's like a really like a really subtle thing.
Let me say something because it's creepy.
Say your
because
thing.
It's creepy. Yeah. So an ending E, which is the one where everybody stays.
Oh no, everybody stays.
No, everybody stays in where they started in the beginning of the game. Not like they went back to their original time. Everybody is sorted out where they should be, but everybody just went back to where the game started. So Dana is in the current, and you're like, yes, I want to do you. You're going to be my girlfriend. And she's like, ooh. She literally is like, ooh, you would be a cool dad.
Gross.
Because he's her dad.
Because he's her fucking dad. Gross.
So nasty. Nasty.
I mean, unless you're into that, but not me.
Yeah.
I love that. And then when you get to like chapter 6, Dana goes, I really found my place here. Like I love it here, and I'm not going back.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you ever talk to the painter in that time period?
Yeah.
Did you get all the paintings done in that time period?
I definitely got because I remember it off the top of my head, I definitely remember doing the burnt down alchemist's house painting.
Okay. So that is kind of the same thing where you can in each chapter go back to the painter and give him inspiration, and he'll paint a picture.
Right, and but the thing is the paintings are already painted.
You can see in the current day.
Right, but they're already painted.
The paintings you can see in the current day. I know, but
but it's like you making them happen. It's you making them happen. Yeah. Right.
Right, but if you do it consistently,
that's a running theme in the game.
Then exactly. So if you do it consistently, you can then trigger a cutscene where Dana's like, I feel comfortable in here. I actually have an appointment with the painter. He's gonna paint me. He's gonna paint me into a portrait, and then a portrait of her is made.
No, that just happens without.
Does it just happen?
Yes, it does. Because
Then what happens?
You get that? No, you get that cutscene at the beginning of chapter 6. No matter what.
Is it?
Yep.
Really?
Because you go because that's your whole reasoning for going back to the past.
There's some kind of like reward for going to the painter every chapter after you can like go talk to him. Yeah, but I don't know what it is. I'll have to play. I'll have to play it again.
Oh boy, I wonder what it is. Because one of the things I really liked, like if you go to the antique shop, one of the things I really like, if you go to the antique shop and you inspect everything on the counters, there's the mask from the performer, and I don't remember all of it, but and then there's the other major one is the signpost from you getting stabbed. And I thought that was really cool. It's like this really cool, just like thing this game does where they explain certain things away by saying, well, that was you in a different timeline during these events. So you never get to be the performer, but the performer is you. So that, and Homunculus explains that in like chapter 4, I think, or 3, where he goes, yeah, like the events just kind of happen, but like what you experience is a relic of another timeline where he was the performer for you and saved your life. Because if you go into chapter 3, you dress up as the performer and you take that picture.
Devin at work.
Okay.
He's not back yet.
Okay.
I got the oven heated.
Okay.
We're gonna leave all this in.
Okay.
And make sure
Okay.
All of that is staying. All of that is staying in the podcast. Every bit of that.
I hope.
Every bit of that.
So-
We're 43 minutes in, and every bit of that tiny conversation is fucking staying in.
Good.
So
to
I just really loved. No, you shut the fuck
go.
up. You shut the fuck up. I really loved the fact that they explain certain events by you being the person doing them, just like different ways.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I love, is because it's like every single time that I play this game, especially if I play it while I'm baked.
Yes.
Especially
marijuana. It's legal where you live.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great. But if I'm playing it and I haven't played it
Maddie,
in a long time,
you're ruining my views right now, okay? Because neckbeards want virginal women with no boyfriends or kids who don't do drugs and have no tattoos. Okay, you're fucking up my views.
One of those things I don't have. I don't have any tattoos.
I know you don't. Are you ever gonna get one?
Which is really
sad.
You ever
want to get a tattoo?
Yeah, I am. I do. I want to get a
KH tattoo. Yeah! Of course you're gonna get a KH tattoo.
Actually, this is very good. This is what a coincidence you'd be talking about this. But shout out to Taylor again. So hopefully
you just send it to her and she'll watch it because she's got a double shout out in this fucking podcast.
Yeah, double shout out, because we also play Kingdom Hearts all the time together. And since we were in like junior high, we've been wanting to get matching Paopu fruit tattoos.
I want to get one with my wife.
I want to get one with Wyatt too.
Yeah, dude, because it makes me want to cry because I played that game. Okay, so the thing is you played. I cannot believe we're about to talk about Kingdom Hearts, but I have to. You played that game when you were really young. I played Kingdom Hearts when I was like 16. Like literally, I played way older. Like yeah. But the thing is like those things. Like the Paopu fruit, like someone being locked in with you for all of your time together.
Dude,
like
your fates are intertwined.
Yeah, like that literally, like it's giving me tingles just thinking about it. But like that literally like hit me like a ton of bricks, even as like a teenager playing it for the first time, because it's such a romantic. It's such a romantic thought.
Yeah, the first time I played Kingdom Hearts I was 8 years old. I was 8.5.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was 8.5 and I played it. And then I didn't own it, but I played it because somebody let my brother borrow it, and I played it while he was at school.
Badass.
Weird. And then my brother bought it for me for my 10th birthday because the second one was coming out in like a few months. Jesus. And he's like, you have to beat this game this week, and then I'm going to get you the second one. I'm like, and so for my birthday...
You played it until you beat it, right?
Yeah.
That's something that you do. How long did it take you to beat Kingdom Hearts 3?
And I was at Sea Ranch. I was in Sea Ranch, which, if you don't know what Sea Ranch is, it's the best place. We were in this, like, I know we're not going off on the tangent, but it was this huge, beautiful house that was on the ocean side. And what did I do? What did 10-year-old me do?
You wasted all of the sunshine and beach to play Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it was great. That's all I did. That's it. And I beat it. I beat it at Sea Ranch. I beat it in 2 days. I was 10 years old. It was great. Dude? And then the second one came out, and my parents surprised me with it because I was really disappointed because I couldn't pre-order it because I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And they came home with me. They came home with it on release day. They said that they drove around for like 6 hours trying to find it.
Yeah, dude, because it took 8 fucking years or whatever to make the sequel, and then it took 14 to make the third one. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to stop talking about Kingdom Hearts now.
Shadow of Destiny.
Shadow of Destiny. Hey, what's the Japanese name called for Shadow of Destiny?
Shadow of Memory.
Yeah, Shadow of Memories.
Oh, yeah, Shadow of Memories.
What do you think is a better name?
Shadow of Destiny.
Really?
For me.
Shadow of Destiny.
Because it's your destiny.
No, it is. I know, but I think Shadow of Destiny explains the game better. But I think Shadow of Memories has a better ring to it. And if you think about it, it is all of your memories, though.
That's true. But
I just shrugged. I shrugged and it picked up on my mic. I shrugged and my little sound.
They re-released this game.
PSP.
For the PSP in 2009.
Did you ever play it? I was gonna ask you about it.
I didn't. But that one was named Shadow of Memories.
Okay. I think in that one they got rid of the energy unit pickup.
They got rid of some random shit. They changed the endings up a little bit because that's where it gets a little weird. Is because it's like if you're ever in doubt and you want to look up a playthrough or a guide or some random bullshit, it's like you have to make sure that you're on the PS2 version,
right?
The American PS2 version,
yeah.
Because they're all slightly different.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I that's one of the weird things about early multi-language, like Japanese to American games, is there are slight differences in each version. And like nowadays, like there really isn't, except Wolfenstein 2 is a big example, but that's because Germany, because they can't show any Nazi imagery. But like that's not like, you know, that, I mean, you know, that's just politics. But like, I don't want to talk about politics, but like old games.
This is totally different. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like old games like this are completely fucking different because of the way, like the language barrier, like the way that translations happen, things like that.
Exactly.
Cutscenes, words, they're just different.
That's what I was saying. I guess that's what I was kind of saying earlier too. It's like the Japanese doesn't translate the same into English, so it just comes off
kind of goofy. It's a little goofy.
So it's I honestly, Kush. Oh, me and Taylor always called him Dyke Kush.
Dyke Kush.
Yeah. Kushk. Because it's the end. It's the ending is ch.
Kush.
You know. Yeah, Kushk. That was our name for him, even though it's Ike Kush. Whatever.
Do you like that name? I think it's a pretty fucking sweet name.
Hold on, just wait. There it is.
There it is. Ike Kush. That's the sound of fucking that beer.
Yep, that's it.
Dude, is Ike Kush gonna be in Smash? Question mark.
What? Why?
Ike Kush confirmed for Smash. What would you do?
I would lose my shit. That would be so funny.
Could you fucking imagine like somebody? Because so I want one character. I want one character confirmed for Smash because he deserves it, and I'm hoping he gets in. And it's fucking Travis. I want Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes.
Okay.
Okay, because he deserves it. His 2 games were on Wii.
You're not gonna give any Redditors the
Steve?
Oh.
Steve? Minecraft Steve?
No, not Steve.
Fucking Steve's Waluigi. Basically confirmed. No,
Waluigi.
Dude, fuck Waluigi. Steve is basically confirmed because Xbox Live just went on to Switch. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Steve is basically confirmed for Smash. But I just want to say,
let's get back to Shadow of Destiny.
No. I just want to say, Travis Touchdown deserves it. Fucking put him in, Sakurai. Sakurai, put him in. I know 20 people are gonna watch this and they don't ever get this far, but please put fucking Travis Touchdown in. And if you put in fucking Ike Kush, holy shit, I'll lose my fucking mind, dude. That would be the greatest fucking twist.
B-lister fighting game.
How would he play?
B-listed.
How would fucking Ike Kush play in a fighting game?
With the digipad, I don't know. Oh, well, in the first ending, Ike throws the digipad at Homunculus and it explodes and scratches his face, and that's how Homunculus dies.
All right.
So he just throws the digipad a bunch of times.
So he'd kind of play like Phoenix Wright does in UMVC 3. Kind of like, just like really weird, like a character that shouldn't be in a fighting game, like is in a fighting game, and he like throws papers and shit. Yeah. And like, I would just say like he would like turn into like old Ike, like summon old Ike Kush, like Wagner, and like Wagner would throw the Philosopher's Stone or something.
Potions.
Yeah,
throw potions.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Summon Homunculus to do some nothing, I guess, because he's fucking weak.
Gosh.
Dude, summon fucking Hugo with knife attacks? Come on, dude. We're making a fucking Ike Kush fighting game now, dude. We're fucking in it now.
That would be great.
Oh,
that would be
great.
great.
I would fucking. All right. So, what was your what? Go.
No, you go. What were you going? What did you want to talk about?
You were way more excited than me. You go.
Okay, no, because I'm drunk, so I mean,
I am
I'm excited
fucking
about everything.
hammered. I'm fucking hammered.
So, this is why this podcast is so long.
No,
Snowy
it's because
day.
it's full of content, motherfucker. Don't bag
It's
talk
great.
the
No,
shit you're
I'm
on
not
right now. You
bad talking
asshole.
it. I'm just saying.
It's long
Snowy
because you're
day.
drunk. All right, go ahead. Snowy day. The
Snowy day
best time period.
is the best, and it is the most important. It's the most important.
Why do you say that?
After
Why do you say
whatever.
it's the most important?
Because that is the day that the babies were switched. That's the day.
No.
And the mom dies.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Snowy day.
No, because what's the girl's name from the past?
Sibylla?
No.
Marguerite?
No. Marguerite. Marguerite is your boss's, your friend in the modern day's daughter. So it wasn't 100 years ago. It was 30 years ago that they were switched.
Hold on.
No.
It doesn't matter. The times don't matter.
Yes, it does.
The matter
because Snowy Day is 100 years ago.
Yeah, no, literally. Look it up on Wiki. Look it up on Wiki.
No.
Because the babies are Marguerite and Dana.
Right.
Dana was the one that was in Marguerite's time.
Yes.
Marguerite
was
is the
30
one that
years
was
ago.
Born. Marguerite was the one that was born. Wait, hold on.
30 years ago. In the 70s. Because you talk to Heinrich, or whatever the fuck his name is, of the museum.
Heinrich.
And he goes, my daughter was kidnapped when she was born. That was 30 years ago. Not 100. Right. You always get 130 mixed up because you were like, what the fuck happened to Sibylla? Sibylla doesn't matter. Sibylla's fucking dead, okay? It's 100 years. She's dead. But like,
I know she's dead.
But Marguerite is the current day museum owner's daughter. That's why in ending B2, you get where he goes, I feel so comfortable that I saved her. And when I look at her face, it looks like what my daughter would have looked like if she grew up. He literally says that. So Marguerite
I know that. What I'm saying is that he took the baby from the past. Dana doesn't have to be an adult. Took the baby from the past, went to the future, switched the babies.
No, he didn't.
And then replaced them.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Is that homunculus is switch the babies?
Yeah, that's all.
If you could go back in time and switch two babies, what two babies would you switch?
What?
If you could go.
Wait, are we talking about still like Dana and Marguerite?
No,
or are we talking about like
real life?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you didn't expect this question. I didn't expect it either. What two babies would you switch? What two babies would you switch?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Come on, name two babies. Name them. There's a lot of babies that have happened in history. You gotta name two.
I know.
And then we gotta talk about what happened. Come on.
Wait.
I'm thinking like Hitler and George Washington would be weird.
Wait, I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Right.
This is gonna strike some political anger, and I'm not meaning
it.
We
can't
I'm
talk
not
about
meaning
politics.
it to.
Oh boy.
But
this podcast is over.
I'm not meaning it to. But you mentioned Hitler, and the only person I could think of was Donald Trump.
And
I'm like, what would happen if Hitler and Donald Trump switched? Because everybody likes to compare Trump to Hitler.
It's true. They do compare it, yeah.
So what would happen if those babies were switched?
Would
it be the same?
Would it be the same? Would it be different? I don't know, but let's get off this subject right now because I'm going to have to delete the last fucking 4 minutes of this conversation. Thank you, Madeline.
You asked.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to go political with it. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Sorry. I'll switch my own baby.
Ouch.
With no babies because he's perfect.
Switch your baby with Hitler and see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
How many babies? I think everyone's answer for this question would be they'd switch Hitler with someone else. I think, right? Do you think that's like kind of like the baseline is kind of see like what would happen?
I have an
Hitler...
idea.
Okay.
Switch Hitler and Stalin.
They're
Switch
like
Hitler
the
and Stalin.
same fucking person.
That's the same person, right? I know. That's my point.
Except Hitler hated fascists.
They're in different. They're just different people. They're basically more or less the same person.
Stalin has
They're
a
both
better
just
chin,
as
though.
corrupt. He has a better beard.
What? Stalin doesn't have a beard.
A mustache is what I meant.
Nope.
Yes, he does. Stalin had a mustache.
No, he does not.
Joseph Stalin.
Did you just Google? Did you just use Google Voice in this podcast just now? Because it sounded like you just used Google Voice in this podcast just now.
Maybe.
Because when you go Joseph Stalin.
Joseph. He had a mustache.
Did he really?
Okay. Yes, he did. Right. He was known for his mustache.
No, he was known for his chin.
He had a big handlebar mustache.
No.
What are you talking about? He did not have a fucking handlebar mustache.
Yes, he did. Google it. I wish.
Oh, you know what?
You want to know why I know?
Sorry, I was thinking of Benito Mussolini. My bad.
Mussolini is fat.
I was thinking of Benito.
I
was thinking of Benito
that's Churchill.
Mussolini.
Churchill was the one that was fat, right?
He was the Brits guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
We're getting off the subject.
Way off topic.
Let's just Benito Mussolini.
Let's just swing it back. What was your favorite chapter?
Snowy Day. Definitely.
Snowy Day time chapter. Period, retard.
7 or something.
Actually, my wife told me to not say retard. The switching of the babies,
the shooting. Retard.
I'm not allowed to say that on the podcast. Nobody will take me serious if I say the R word.
Blame me. Let's do that. Anyway, no, yeah, the shooting chapter definitely. I mean, which is the definition.
What's the chapter?
Where the mom is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out on a walk," and you're like, "Don't do it. It's dangerous." And she's like, "Oh, you're crazy. I'm just gonna go on a walk anyway."
What?
And then she gets shot.
Wait, what are you talking about?
It's like chapter 6 or 7.
Wait, who gets shot?
The mother.
What mother?
Brum's wife. The museum library guy, his wife.
I've never seen that.
That's walking around with the baby.
I've never seen that.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, there's no. No. That has to be some sort of alternate thing, dude. There's no way. No. I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
I'm gonna Google it. Thank you, Google, for all of this.
I have never seen that. She gets shot?
Yes.
Look up the way that you. Well, I've never seen that. No, that's an event. You're saying that's an event in a chapter.
Yes. That is, well, that's that's basically what the chapter is that you're chasing after this woman because you're like, oh my gosh, she's going to die.
No.
Because you know she's going to die.
I've never seen this. I've never seen this. I'm telling you right now, I've never
I'm
seen
looking. I'm looking.
You go ahead and fucking look, dude. You go ahead and fucking look, dude, because I have never heard of that.
That's the Tower.
That's chapter 6 or 7 or whatever.
Okay. So 6, because that was chapter
6 is when you get hit by a car. 5 is poisoning. Or 4 is poisoning.
There it is. Yes, it is chapter 6. It's chapter 6.
Read it to me, because I don't know what you're talking about.
This is in the walkthrough, because this is... Okay. Now travel to the present, and you have 2 choices. You can immediately go back to before the shooting and save Miriam, or you can run around and live. If you want to save her, travel back to 1980, and you'll see another cut scene. So...
that was chapter 6. So it happened in chapter 5 then. So it was chapter 5. Hold on, let me scroll up a little bit.
Wait. What?
Chapter 5.
I've never seen this though. Wait, but how do you die in chapter? What chapter is this? Let me fucking Google this.
Chapter 5.
Oh my god.
Let me see. Free meal. That was the chapter 5 is the poison.
Right.
Library, museum.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee. This is the coffee. Yeah, it's the coffee chapter.
What's the coffee chapter? The one that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, chapter 6.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what exactly.
No. In chapter 6. No, wait. In chapter 6 is the one where you get hit by the car. It's the one where you can go back in time and you talk to the director and you give him the name of the movie to save you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And that's all you have to do for that whole chapter. Okay?
Yeah, but you can go to the past and it has the cutscene.
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen that cutscene.
So, okay, well, it's pretty important.
What is because look,
it
says if you want to save Miriam.
If you want, you can go back to the past.
Who's Miriam?
Miriam is Brum's wife.
Who's Brum?
The guy with the big giant mustache, Sibylla's dad.
Okay.
The baby. Uh-huh. Okay. So you go to the past,
right?
Because it gives you the option because it says, something might happen here, and so I always go back to the past because I want to try to save the mom because Miriam, homunculus kills her, he shoots her, and then he switches the babies. That's when the baby switch happens. So if you save her, you can unlock different endings. That's how you get the different endings, is going back and saving her from
you get the different endings. You get the different endings. I looked it up by 1, talking to Marguerite and telling her that you're my ancestor, or 2, telling Dana to come back with you. That's it. Those are the only 2 deciding factors.
No.
100%. 100%. Yes. If you don't tell Dana, or if you don't tell Marguerite,
but, like, that's the immediate. I'm saying, like, it's the decisions that you make that make. The only thing that you're talking, you are correct, but the thing that changes it is the decisions that you make. So yes, if you tell her that you're her ancestress, you get the first few. If you don't, then it's the other few. But what decides which one of those out of that bracket you get is by the decisions you make, like saving the mom. So if you save the mom, then you'll get E or whatever.
Nope.
It's not just by random.
No,
it's not just
random.
by random.
It's not random. No. It's completely chosen by the 2 major events of you talking to Marguerite or you talking to... That's it, though. Right. None of the other events you make in the game matter.
Oh, Nicholas!
Jesus Christ.
Listen.
No, dude.
Sorry. I'm saying you're right. I'm saying that decides which bracket of endings you get.
No, but that decides the exact ending you get.
No.
Depending on what you do after you pick your bracket.
This is after. That event happens after that.
Is it really?
Yes, it does, because that happens in chapter 5. Really? That decision happens in chapter 5. Yes. The thing that I'm talking about is in chapter 6. Right. So if you go back afterwards, you can unlock, like, one of those specific endings. So say that yes, you decided that she's your ancestress or whatever, or you didn't. Okay? One or the other. So let's say we're in ending ABC. So we've decided, yes, she is, or whatever.
Wrong.
So now we have A, B, or C. I'm just saying,
what a bad choice. I wish I never made it. I always do it.
I'm drunk now, and we're just deciding. We're just hypothetical, okay? Hypothetical.
Sure.
ABC, okay?
Yeah.
ABC. So then we've gone into chapter 6, and chapter 6 is right before the ending. So in chapter 6 decides which specific A, B, or C you get. So you've already decided the bracket A, B, and C, or you've decided D and E. Okay? So now in chapter 6, you have one of the 3 or one of the 2. So depending on what you do in chapter 6 decides which specific ending you get outside of the ABC or DE bracket.
Jesus Christ.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to a single word you've been saying. I've just been looking up at this fucking...
We'll go back and listen to it after you've posted it, because it does make sense.
Fuck, dude.
It does make sense.
I've never seen that cutscene.
Yeah, no, it's a real cutscene.
I'm looking at it right now. If you want to save Miriam,
Shout out.
I've literally never even thought about it.
Shout out to Taylor again, because me and her have tried to save her
3
multiple times.
Shout outs.
And it's like super difficult.
Can you shout out a fucking sponsor, please? Like someone that will pay me money to make these? Yeah, dude, because you've given 3 shout outs to some random person who's not even going to listen to this. Can you fucking...
No,
can you shout out...
she'll do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fisher Price.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna get sponsored by fucking Fisher Price.
Distracting my child so that I can do this.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And shout out to Red's ciders, because I'm drunk off of Red's apple cider right now.
Red's apple cider Red's apple cider ain't fucking
They're not,
bad.
you know. And Wicked, I'm doing the Wicked apple,
yeah,
so
Wicked
it's like
apple.
8%
That's the best flavor.
alcohol.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
The
fucking,
Wicked.
It's like a strong ass beer, and they come in those fucking
Yeah.
40s, bro. They come in the tall boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great.
Dude, how did you
favorite
buy
one.
those? Did you buy a bunch of tall boys?
I bought a 12 pack.
Oh my lord.
Regulars. It's Friday night. We're getting wicked trashed.
Wicked trash. Yeah, I'm fucking... I feel you, dog. So one of the things I didn't like about this game was that... Let's go back to the first 15 minutes of this podcast. Is that you had to pick up energy units. And one of the things is you have full energy units until about chapter 3, where he wipes them.
And then he just wipes it clean.
Yeah, it wipes
that
it
was on one of
clean.
my talking points too.
Mm-hmm. I did not like that. I mean, it's fine gathering the energy units, and also like if they're trying to, with the energy unit thing, create a sense of tension, it does that. But if that's not their intended goal,
yeah, because the next chapter, like the chapter that he takes away your energy units, you're on a very tight time frame.
Yes.
So if you don't have an energy unit and you've already done like what you need to do to like stay alive, if you don't have the energy unit, you can't go back in time to save yourself.
And
you'll die.
Right.
You're just done. You're done because you couldn't go back in time to fulfill what you've already done. So then you need to redo all of that.
Right.
So a big part of the game is memorizing where those energy units are.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. I hated that part. I absolutely hated it, because you will never, from that point on, you will never have a full energy bar.
No, you will
ever.
not. Ever.
Never.
Ever.
You always have just like 3. That's it.
I would go to one time period, I'd gather 3, and then I'd get.
And then you get 1, and then you continue, and then you get 1, and you continue, and 1 and continue. Yeah,
literally.
Totally. That's my only complaint about the game.
Right.
Maybe one of like a couple, but like that's one of the main ones.
Pointless wiping or just having the energy. Having the energy was a pointless thing to have in the game. And if you would make it again in the modern day with a little bit modern day flavor, I would say don't have the energy limit. Let you jump and back and forth as much as you want. And try and figure out the mystery, because maybe that's something they did in the PSP version that we don't know. Right, I never played it. I could definitely download it, but I have never played it. But I would say half the fun of this game is to jumping to different time periods and seeing what you do on each chapter. And if you made it with today's modern standards,
and maybe that was on purpose, because maybe that's to kind of like blindfold you and put you into this, okay, I only have so much, so let me see what I can do with this much that I have. Instead of going, here, let's go to all these different time zones and let's figure out what we can do.
Right.
Maybe that was on purpose.
I get
so
that.
that you didn't
like,
get
so that
away.
you don't get like the best ending your first playthrough. You kind of stumble into
Right. So
endings.
you kind of have to work for it in other
Right.
senses.
And I understand that. I feel like if the game was made today, it would not have the energy limit. And it was bothersome. I mean, I knew where all the energy that I wanted to gather was. Like, there's a guaranteed one in Sibylla's time. It's just like right inside the door, so you can just grab that one. That's a guaranteed. Like, it's always there. Every time you go back to it, no problem. Energy unit. Like, if you go back there and that's not where you needed to go, you have a way to get back to your modern day time. Like every time,
100%.
and that's fine.
Yeah,
But the thing is, it never moved, so you could just go back every chapter
all of the
and gather them
units,
over and over.
All of the energy units are in the same place in every
timeline.
Every
Yeah, and that's fine, but like it basically just adds seconds or minutes to your game that don't need to be there, and I feel like it would be more fun to just be able to explore. Also, if
I can agree.
There you go. You were fucking dead quiet for a minute. I wondered if maybe something happened.
Child was screaming, so I just put it on
back?
mute so you didn't hear them. Yeah, they're back, but they're outside in the
nice.
living room and stuff. So I just thought while he was having a tantrum, I would put it down for a second. But yeah, no, I agree. And even in the playthroughs and like the guides and bullshit, they all suggest memorizing the areas that the energy units spawn. That way, in time of need, you can have them right there.
Because you always start each chapter with one, so you can go back to at least one time period that you memorize, and you can just gather them all.
Right.
Like, you don't even need to memorize all time periods. You just memorize one, and you're good to go.
Right. So the one that I always memorize is the one that's in current time, that's right outside the fortune teller's room. Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started memorizing Snowy Day because I spent so much time there, because I always went back to that time period every chapter to just to wander around.
Yeah.
So I started memorizing Snowy Day, but
yeah.
You
are there quite a lot. That is the one, like, you go back to Marguerite's time a lot, but you go back to Snowy Day, I think the most. A lot. Yeah.
Like 30 years ago, you only go back like 2 or 3 times, and then
like the one
Marguerite's time is like literally the most visited time period,
because that's the time where the scientist is,
right?
I.e. you.
Right, i.e. you. So, are there any other events that you've experienced that like tell me some of these weird, like, obviously Miriam, because we had a fucking 10-minute conversation about that.
Have you ever given Sibylla a kitten?
Yes, I have. I gave her one in my most recent playthrough. She's like, "Oh my god, it's so cute." Where you like, she goes, like, "I want a kitten," and you go, "Oh fuck, I can totally get you one." And then, like, in that chapter, you can just like get her a kitten.
You a kitten from the future.
It's a future kitten.
It's a better kitten.
It's a better kitten. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite death? What's your favorite death?
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you what your favorite puzzle of your death was. Like,
my favorite is the rope, where you get pushed off the tower and then you get hung. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can totally play that and you can be like, "Oh yeah, I got the rope, I got this." But then you get to it and it's like an old rope and the rope snaps. And then it's like, "Oh shit, like, I messed up. I gotta go back."
Right.
And then you're like, "Okay, well, how am I gonna find a rope that won't snap?" And you have to go all the way in the past to find that.
100 years.
All the way in the past.
100 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You gotta go way back.
That was something I literally went back 30 years and I was like, okay, so this is the one. And I went up and it was like old rope and I was like, fuck. Okay, so it's 100 years then. And I went back to 100 years and I got the 100-year rope. I would say My favorite is definitely the stabbing in the back.
Which one? The first or the
Chapter
second?
3 with the frying pan of the
Okay.
sign, because
Because you did get stabbed twice.
it leads into the chapter that's like probably my favorite, where you get to explore. Like you literally get an hour and a half, and so you get really get to explore.
That's the freest chapter.
It is.
Definitely.
It's
the one where you get to. It's the one where you get to kind of, get a feel for each time zone if you wanted to, if you really wanted to.
And you have a full bar of energy. So I jumped around a lot. I jumped around, I walked around, I talked to everybody I could. I was a big fan of that one simply because it let me do the longest chapter in the game.
Yeah, totally.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go. I had nothing.
You had nothing. I had nothing.
I was just
terrific. I was going to just ramble on. I love that. That's great. So
this is getting better as we go.
So what did you think of Homunculus?
It's funny because I am not a huge fan of Homunculus. I mean, I love Homunculus. Don't get me wrong. Like, for the game, it works. But I think that they play up Homunculus to be the enemy of on the picture. It's like, oh, it's going to be all about Homunculus. This is it. You think that going into it that he's going to be the big bad.
Isn't that kind of great though?
Oh, I think he actually calls him, "Oh, you're the big bad, Satan." That he totally says that in the game. That's funny.
That's great.
The big bad. So anyway, I think that they play him up to be the biggest enemy of the game, but in actuality, I think that it's actually Hugo.
Well, of course, Hugo is the main antagonist in the game, but don't you think that's like a great way of sort of subverting your expectations, where Homunculus is probably one of the most, he's the second most important character in the game, Homunculus, aside from Ikush, because Homunculus is created. And by him being created, it creates these multiple timelines of things happening. Because Homunculus, wants to get shit done or whatever.
Homunculus being created alone creates such a crazy paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the one that puts Wagner in the curse and creates this whole loop of craziness. He's the one that does that.
Right.
But it's like, he would have never been created had you not come back from the future. So it's like, how did this all begin? You don't know. There is no legitimate explanation of this game, and which is why I love this game, which is why I love talking about this game, is because there is no legitimate ending. There is no explanation as to how this game ends or how it begins.
I would say probably the EX with the tree having the stone, and then him using the stone.
The tree stone thing isn't actually ending A. So that's the first one.
I would say that's that element of that ending, and then like him making it would probably be like the most viable way of all of this beginning. Like Wagner actually doing something.
Right, because it's like, oh, well, the stone is in the tree. How did the stone get here? And then you observe the stone, and then you're like, I had no idea. Oh, my past self created it.
Jesus. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird because it's like, how do I want to say this? Because it's going off of like, how do you suggest this game to other people? And if this whole podcast is about selling this game to other people,
it's not.
It's not. But
not.
This is how I always, when people ask me,
sell
like,
it. This will be our final talking point, because I gotta piss so bad right now.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely peed while we were on the podcast at one point, but you will never know because I'm so secretive. Yep.
What?
I'm so good at it. Anyway, yeah, I did.
You took me into the bathroom, didn't you? Because you're on your phone.
You did, because I'm on my phone.
Oh my.
Oh, and you had no idea how dirty.
I had no idea.
How dirty do you feel right now?
Filthy nasty.
Good. Anyway, But to sell this game, because people always ask me, like, you play video games, what kind of game do you recommend? And it's always on my game to recommend, only because it's an easy game. You don't have to be good at playing video games. That's the best thing about this game, is you don't have to be good at playing video games to play this game. It is, here's the subject. You make a decision. There's no fighting. There's no combat. There's nothing.
There's no muscle memory. It's just sort of wandering around.
You wander around. You get asked a question. You get faced with a concern or an obstacle, and you go, "Hey, this seems like a good idea. Let's do that." And then it will just kind of go.
Shit.
So,
you're making me want to make my wife play this.
You know what? She probably would have a really good time playing it, because you honestly, you don't have to be good to play. You don't have to be good to play this game.
No, that's definitely true.
It is a definite entry level game to people who don't play games. Like, if you want to be sold on playing video games, or like if you don't want to play a video game where it's like, you know, like let's say like PUBG, where everybody's like, oh yeah, my skill level is super high. Or like
Devil May Cry, where you have to memorize a bunch of buttons, or a fighting game where you have to like learn matchups or anything like that. It's just sort of it's basically a visual novel. It's basically a visual novel.
It's okay to put it in current modern terminology. The newest excerpt, which I don't know that you have done it, but you should, because it's basically the same thing. The new Black Mirror. Shout out to Black Mirror. The new Black Mirror, the Bandersnatch.
I have not done Bandersnatch.
You should, because it's exactly like this game. So if
but
anybody,
fucking Black Mirror is spooky as fuck, dude.
But I mean, it's the same concept, where it's like, hey, I'm taken along on this journey. Here's do you want Pops, or do you want Kellogg's or Frosted Flakes or something?
Dude, Pops every time.
Pops.
Gotta have my Pops.
Like,
hey, Kellogg, can you please sponsor me?
Do you want a museum?
Please sponsor
me,
Kellogg's.
Do you want a museum, or do you want a library?
Actually,
I want a library.
You have to do the library for one chapter, but you can change it back anytime you want. Yeah. What did you pick?
I mean, it's more or less the same thing. And so my point is that if you liked Bandersnatch, if you have watched Bandersnatch, you would probably like this game. You probably like this game.
Hey.
Because it has the same exact difficulty level as pressing a button.
Zero investment.
Same thing. There's zero investment. Totally. 100%.
No, like the only brain power you need to use is like solving the mystery.
To press it. Man, I hope we solve this mystery. Nothing happened.
Scooby-Doo in the gang.
Scooby-Doo in the game. You and my dear husband played this game while you were trashed.
Hammered on martinis, dude. Hammered.
Martinis. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This game is something, and I play this game blitzed all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is a game that you can play when you just want to go on a ride. You just want to go on a ride. You don't really know where it's going to go, and then it ends and it blows your mind every time. Even if it's the most vanilla ending, it still is going to blow your mind.
Still good. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
That's a great way of selling it. Maybe that's what I'll start doing at the end of this podcast, is selling it.
Selling the game.
Selling the game. Get people to play it, because this is a fucking great game.
Myself can inspire you.
I mean, hey, I'm always inspired. You always inspire me.
Thanks, I'm glad.
So this one's 20 minutes.
Because you know what? I am a woman, and I've played games since I was 4 years old.
Whoa.
It started with Elmo's Adventure. Started with Elmo's Adventure and Bug's Life, but you know what?
The first video game I remember is the Batman game for the SNES.
So good. That's such a good game. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Yeah, dude.
You know what? My brother, we do Yankee Swap every year for Christmas.
Yep.
And my brother's Yankee Swap contribution was a NES USB with all the NES games. And a USB controller. And I know he wanted it to go to my mom. I know he did, but I took it because I'm selfish.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited. I haven't broken it open because my computer is like a microwave.
Dude, same. Mine's like not even a microwave. Mine's like a lamp.
Like a toaster.
Like a lamp.
lamp. My computer. I have an Asus that's from 2008.
Dude, I have an
2008.
HP from that's like around like 2008.
Isn't it?
Like literally,
You know
I've been
what?
getting pinged all
have an
day
HP.
that I have a hard disk problem. Okay, like
Oh,
literally, this game is
Oh,
this
boy.
this laptop is dying as we speak. This is the third one that I've gotten during this podcast, dude. Okay, so like this shit is done. Okay, but I'm still recording on it because it's the only laptop that has enough RAM to fucking handle this recording software.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what? If it works, it works. You know,
dude, this SingStar mic is fucking doing it. It's got a sock on it. It's got a sock on it to help with the
You know
P's.
what? My $10 clearance headphones are doing it.
Yeah,
on my
dude, you sound
phone.
clean. You sound even cleaner than I do,
Good.
to be honest.
I hope it sounds professional
You sound
because I
good.
sure as hell don't.
You sound well. You're drunk. I mean, I have 4 cups by me right now. All of them had just about 3 out of 4 had liquor in it. So
I
good
definitely
times.
haven't drinking any water.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a big glass of this. So, I guess we'll end it here. We've talked about just about everything, and I have to like literally, I'm clenching my penis shut right now because I have to pee so bad. So
My 1-year-old is calling for mommy.
perfect,
right
perfect.
now,
You're
outside the
really,
door.
really making it
door.
hard to get the fucking neckbeards in here.
Mommy. Ooh.
Mommy Milkies. Maddie's a Mommy
Mommy
Milkies. Yeah. So, Maddie, thanks for being on. Hopefully, you and I can hop on together again to do another episode of something.
Oh yeah.
Because
What do you have? Do you have a next game in mind?
not yet, but by this end of this weekend, I have to decide because I have to play it.
Have you ever played? Oh, ooh, you know what one you should do because we both have played this game.
What game?
Whiplash.
Dude. Whiplash? You have no idea. I literally have Whiplash in a box in the garage, and I thought about you. All right, I guess that's it. Next episode's Whiplash. I'm beating it for the first time. Let's do it. Maddie,
I have never beaten it either, so
we're
it'll
doing
be
it
a
then.
challenge.
All right, that means in 2
Done
weeks
deal.
on the 1st of fucking March, we're doing fucking
God.
Whiplash. I have my PS2 plugged in. I'm gonna fucking get started on it this weekend. All right, Whiplash. Next episode. Perfect. All right, Maddie, thanks for coming on.
Yep.